I want to talk to you today about some of the hardest seasons of my life. And I'm not sharing this for sympathy. I'm not sharing it to impress you. I'm sharing it because I know some of you are in hard seasons right now. And I want you to know it doesn't have to take you out. I've been lost. I've been broke. Not because I didn't have money, but because I didn't know what to do with it. I've had my marriage fall apart around me while I was fighting to save it. I've woken up not knowing who I was or what I was supposed to do next. And I found my way through all of it. Not because I'm special, not because I got lucky, because of one fundamental mindset shift that changed everything. Today I'm going to share that shift with you. And if you let it sink in, really let it sink in, it will change things for you too. My name is Brian. This is The Grounded Life. Let's get into it. When I got out of the Army, I thought the hard part was over. I served as a medic. I'd done the job. I'd proven something to myself, and now it was time to build a civilian life. What I didn't expect was how lost I would feel. In the Army, everything has structure. You know what you're doing. You know where you're going, what's expected of you. Your identity is clear. You're a soldier, you're a medic, you have a mission. When that's gone, when you take off the uniform for the last time, there's this silence that hits you. And in that silence, you start asking questions. You don't have the answers to. Who am I now? What am I supposed to do? Where do I even want to live? I couldn't find a job. I didn't know what direction to go. Do I go back to school? If so, for what? Do I keep applying and hope something sticks? I got a job as a truck driver because I needed income. But it wasn't enough to actually live on. And I remember sitting there thinking, is this it? Is this what comes after everything you've put in? And here's what I did in that season. I blamed everything except myself. I blamed the economy. I blamed the job market. I blamed the fact that civilian employers don't understand military experience. I blamed the timing. I blamed the circumstances. What I wasn't doing, what I refused to do, was look in the mirror and take ownership. And that avoidance kept me stuck far longer than any of those outside circumstances ever did. Then came my divorce. I'm not going to go deep into the details because some of the things are private. But I will tell you is this. It wasn't something I wanted. I fought for that marriage. I wanted it to work. But there came a point where she had checked out, and no matter how hard I fought, you cannot save something alone. And when it ended, I did what a lot of people do. I looked for someone to blame. I replayed the conversations. I pointed fingers. I asked why. I carried bitterness like it was protecting me from something. Here's what that bitterness actually does. It doesn't protect you. It doesn't punish the other person. It just poisons you slowly while the world keeps on moving. At some point, I had to make a decision. Was I going to let this define me? Was I going to let this season become my story? Or was I going to take responsibility for my part? Not for the end of the marriage, but for how I was going to respond to it. Because here's what I've learned. You don't always get to control what happens to you, but you always get to control what you do next. Always. Proverbs 24:16 says, "A righteous man falls 7 times and rises again." It doesn't say he falls and stays down. It doesn't say that he falls and finds someone to blame. He rises. That's the standard. Now let me tell you about this season that actually embarrassed me the most to admit, because this one was entirely on me. I became a travel nurse, and travel nursing pays well, really well. We're talking over $100 an hour. My ex-wife and I together were pulling in well over $300,000 a year combined. And we were broke. Not broke like we couldn't pay our bills, broke like we had almost nothing saved. We had credit card debt. She had extensive amount of student loan debt. I had around $50,000 of debt in my own. And at the rate we were spending, we looked at each other one day and realized, if we keep going like this, even making what we make, we're not going to be able to retire. And that was a gut punch. Because you can't blame that on the economy. You can't blame that on the employer or the job market or bad luck. That was a spending problem. That was a priorities problem. That was a me problem. So we made the decision. We started reading books. We found the FIRE movement. Financial independence, retire early. We got educated. We made a plan and we executed it. In just under 2 years, we eliminated her student loan debt. In 6 to 8 months, went from $50,000 in debt to zero. Not because of our income changing dramatically, because of our mindsets changing completely. We stopped spending money to feel good in the moment and started making decisions based on the future we actually wanted to build. That ownership, that's looking at a problem and saying, I created this and I'm gonna fix it. So what's the common thread through all 3 of these seasons? What's the shift that made the difference every single time? It's this. I stopped being a victim of my circumstances and started taking radical ownership of my life. That sounds simple, but it's not easy. Because blame feels justified. When life is hard and things fall apart, it feels completely reasonable to point at what went wrong and say, that's why I'm here. Because I'm stuck. That's why things aren't working. But here's the truth. The moment you give your circumstances the power to explain your life, you also give them the power to control it. And now you're stuck waiting for circumstances to change before you can move. Ownership says something different. Ownership says, regardless of what happened, what am I going to do right now? What's my next move? What's within my control today? And the second shift, the one that gave me peace through all of it, is this. Hard seasons are not punishment. They are preparation. Romans 5:3-4 says, we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. Every hard season I walked through taught me something I couldn't have learned any other way. Losing my direction after the Army taught me that identity has to come from within, not from the uniform or a title. The divorce taught me that I cannot control other people, but I can always control my response. The financial wake-up taught me that income means nothing without intention. None of those lessons came from comfortable seasons. All of them came from hard ones. So if you're in a hard season right now, I need you to hear this. It's not happening to destroy you. It's happening to develop you. The question is whether you're going to spend it blaming or whether you're going to spend it growing. Let me bring this home with 3 things I want you to walk away with today. Number 1, identify where you're playing the victim. Be honest with yourself. Where in your life are you blaming something or someone else for where you are? Write it down. Name it. You can't fix what you won't face. Number 2, take 1 act of ownership today. Not tomorrow, today. 1 decision that says, I am responsible for my life and I'm going to act like it. Could be a phone call you've been avoiding, a budget you need to look at, a conversation you need to have. 1 act of ownership. Number 3, reframe your hard season. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? What is this preparing me for? That 1 question will change your entire relationship with difficulty. Hard seasons are not the end of your story. They are part of your story, and some of the most important parts. I shared all of that today because I want you to know, whoever you are, whatever season you're in, you are not alone, and you are not stuck unless you choose to be. The mindset shift that changed my life was simple. Stop blaming. Start owning. And trust that what you're walking through is preparing you for something bigger than you can see right now. God doesn't waste hard seasons, not one of them. If this video meant something to you today, please hit subscribe and drop a comment below. Tell me what hard season you were in or what hard season you survived. I read every single comment, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Next week, we're talking about what the military taught me about taking care of your body and why physical discipline is about more than just looking good. You don't want to miss it. Thank you for being here. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next one.